You're listening to the Kingdom Alliance podcast. Real conversations for believers who want to grow, lead, and live a life that is aligned spiritually, relationally, and professionally. I'm your host, Michelle Schaffer. Hello. Oh my goodness. It has been a minute since I recorded a podcast. Welcome to the Kingdom Alliance podcast. My name is Michelle Schaffer. And first of all, the podcast is going to get a major facelift. We might be changing the name. I'm back. I'm excited to be recording podcasts again on a regular basis. I took a bit of a hiatus and a lot of things happened during that time, but I am so happy to be back. You know, if you don't know my story, I started podcasting back in 2017. I started with a solo podcast called Sold Out Entrepreneur, SOULED. And I fell in love with podcasting. Back then, it was just an audio podcast. I could just put a bun in my hair and sit in front of my microphone and share all of my thoughts with anybody who wanted to listen. And since then, podcasting has been upgraded quite a bit. They're pretty much video podcasts now more than they are even audio podcasts. And I've had a couple of iterations. Started out with just me as a solo podcaster. Then I began interviewing people a little bit for my personal podcast. In 2020, when I launched, then it was called Girl Power Alliance. I started a podcast specifically that was an interview podcast for that company. And I just began interviewing all kinds of people that were women of faith in business. That's where I was called to. And I was excited to find all these amazing women sharing their passion, their mission, and their faith, and how it was wrapped in and around their business. And in 2020, I launched the membership, Girl Power Alliance, the membership, which is personal professional development with faith right at the core, right at the center of it. And over the last, almost 6 years, that has evolved in tremendous ways. It became Kingdom Alliance. We launched academies, a coaching program, a speaker mentoring program, a master coach program, and so many other amazing things. We've hosted events and done retreats, and it has been quite a wild journey. But a part of my story that you may not know that I'm going to share with you today, because it's going to lead to a big announcement. And I'm excited to make it. It's been 6 years in the making, and you need to hear the backstory so it will make even more sense to you and have even more meaning. Because I think oftentimes, from the front, from social media, people build a story around what they see based on their own life, their own experiences, and it's not always the reality of what's going on for the person. And I am very private, and I'm also I'm an open book. I'm both. So I choose what I like to share. And when I do share things, I'm completely transparent. And so this is a part of my story that you may or may not know. Well, I'm going to start in 2019. Even though I told you I started podcasting in 2017, that changed everything for me. Up until that point, I had never really talked about my faith from a public platform. I talked about it privately with people, and people that shared my faith would have these conversations with me, but it was never something like right out in the open that I did. I was always taught, if you want to be successful in business, then you don't talk about politics or religion, especially not from the front. So I didn't. But when I started podcasting in 2017, it was really me answering a call. I felt like God was nudging me. He was pressing on me to do something, to do more, to be more vocal and bold about my faith. So I started this podcast, and I started talking about everything through this lens of faith. My faith is such a huge part of my life. And I began talking about how it influenced me as a wife, as a mother, in business. And over the course of 2 years, I was transformed. Speaking about these things was so aligned in my mind and my spirit, my whole being, that anything that wasn't that started to feel out of alignment, started to feel weird. I wanted to be that same person that I was on this podcast behind the microphone, just me and my microphone. I wanted to be that version of me all the time in every area of my life. So in 2019, I began feeling another nudge. And this one was really uncomfortable for me, if you don't know the story. Um, my husband and I have been in network marketing for almost our whole relationship. We've been together for 25 years. We've built companies together. We've built businesses as distributors. We've made millions of dollars as distributors and have been very successful. And at that time, I was a multi-million dollar earner, my husband and I, in a network marketing company. And it just started to feel like that wasn't my home anymore. It started to feel like that wasn't my place, that I was being called to somewhere new. And that was really, really scary because it was our sole income. And I know as well as anybody that if you walk away from specifically a network marketing business, over time that's going to go away. I know network marketing, people talk about walk away residual, and to some degree there it is that, but the truth of the matter is there is a lot of leadership involved. And so if you're not leading from the front actively, eventually your team will just like begin to dwindle. And I knew that that was going to happen if I walked away. But when when you feel this thing on you, when you feel God calling you, one thing that I have learned is you don't want to ignore it. You want to listen to what he's asking of you. So at the end of I actually told my husband in the fall, I said, I can't do this anymore. Fall of 2019. He's like, "Well, what are you going to do?" I said, "I don't know." But I know that I'm not supposed to do this anymore. And I spent a number of months journaling and praying and kind of waiting on God to tell me what my next step was because I didn't know what it was. I knew he was calling me to something, but I didn't know what it was. I even stopped podcasting for a couple months because I just wanted to clear the space in my mind. Do you know what that, what I'm talking about? Have you ever had that happen? You just want to clear everything out so that you can have like a clean slate, a clean like palette in your brain. And that's what I did. At the very end, literally the end of the year 2019, I felt God tell me two things really profoundly, and they felt absolute and clear. Number one was that we were at the beginning of the largest revival, or we were about to experience the largest revival that the world had ever seen. Cool. I was excited about that. Don't know what that looks like, but I was excited. And two, that there's about to be a massive shift, transformation in the church, the body as a whole. And women were going to be the catalyst for that transformation. And it was going to be specifically women in the marketplace. And over the last 5 years, we've seen a lot of great things happen. And I do believe that women have been the catalyst for so much stuff because, I mean, you've seen it, the Me Too movement. It's really disempowered men and empowered women. And in order to get things back into the right order, women had to be the catalyst to shift the order of that again. I think a lot of men were afraid. They don't want to be called toxic or whatever. That's a whole different podcast. But I digress. So back to 2019. So armed now with these two things that I felt so profoundly on my heart, I was like, okay, I'm going to move forward in that direction. And my idea at the time was I wanted to start something of a networking group, something that where I would create a networking group, invite people to join me. We would meet monthly, and women of faith would get to gather together to network, talk about their business, and there'd be growth in there. We would have speakers that would come and talk about, spiritual growth, professional growth, being a leader in business and being a leader in faith. I was very excited about it. So I sought out somebody who knew how to build websites. I didn't know how to do any of that then, and told her my idea, and off she went. I gave her thousands of dollars, and off she went to begin building this website for me, so that I could start what would be first local, but then like little franchises all over the place. This was my original idea. I was going to monetize it, um, create the framework, monetize it, and have other women that felt called to do it in their city, just buy in as a franchise and start these chapters all over the place, or these franchises all over the place. And so in addition to that, while that was being built, that's when I started the second podcast alongside my first podcast, which was originally called the Girl Power Alliance podcast. And I started interviewing women. I started listening to them and asking them questions and getting eyes on what I was doing. Well, as of March 2020, the world changed. COVID happened. And this idea that I was building into for something that was going to be in person had to pivot in a big way. I didn't want to stop. I already had some momentum going. Had the podcast going, the website was being built, and I thought, okay, well, how can I shift this so that I don't waste the money that I just spent, stop all the momentum, keep moving forward with whatever this vision was that God gave me. And then, I'm sure this shutdown won't last long and I can go back to, the main idea of this idea of these franchises. And we all know how that how that went. I thought for sure it wasn't going to last longer than at first 2 weeks. It was like 14 days to stop the spread. Of course, in 14 we're going to get back to normal in 14 weeks. I'll never forget my son. I said something to him, well, when we get back to normal, this was very early on within the first month. Uh, I kept thinking by Easter, there's no way we're still going to be locked down by Easter. And I said something to my son. I said, well, when we get back to normal, and he goes, Mom, we're never going back to normal. You know that, right? And I thought he was just crazy. And so what I did was I pivoted. I put every idea that I had on the table that I was building into, I put that all on a shelf and pivoted into creating an online community, an online membership where there would be live calls, there would be courses, there would be personal development. We'd create a community and, see what happens. Well, what happened was amazing. In the middle of COVID, when most people were feeling alone, feeling scared, like depressed, people were overeating, drinking more than they've drank before, marriages were falling apart because people were fighting, so worried about finances, health, everything. I mean, you lived through it. In our little corner of the world with this community that we were building, we were thriving. We were filled with hope. We were looking to the future. We were developing new friendships. It was kind of amazing. And I felt a little buffered from everything that was going on outside in the world. I wasn't blind to it. I was still experiencing it. But, when it came to community and loneliness, we were we were filling the need. And over time, that has just morphed into such an amazing community. And we began doing live events, call them Activate. We did Activate once a year. And it was a time where any member that wanted to could come gather together. And it was like a cross between a worship concert, a women's retreat, and a business event, all wrapped into one. And they have been amazing, each one of them, more amazing than the one before. And I like to say that it was like heaven on earth. I'll never forget the first one. I'll never forget the first one. I had Tasha Layton. Do you know who that is? She is an award-winning Christian artist. We had Tasha Layton come and sing, and there was less than 100 people in the room. And it was a feeling I cannot express. It was at our gala, and she and her husband sang. They did this amazing set of worship music. And I felt like, man, this must be what heaven feels like. And we forged this incredible community. Women that just were real friends, not just online friends, like you have Facebook friends or whatever, but real relationships. People began collaborating. They started businesses together. They were partnering up. They were, prayer partners. And it has been the most amazing thing. I have watched transformations in people's lives, their marriages, their business, unlike anything I've ever seen. And we started doing retreats, our coaching retreats. So then we had 2 events a year, and those were amazing too because they were more intimate. And every time one of those events ended, we just wanted more. When can we get together again? When can we have the next event, right? Because being together was so unlike anything I'd ever experienced. And believe me, I've been to all the women's retreats, I've been to business events, I've done all the things. But this was different. It was so authentic. It was so real. And it was so meaningful. And by the way, all kinds of different people have been a part of our company, different denominations, different belief systems. But we had one thing in common. That was our faith, our belief in Jesus. And even though there might be 1,000 other things that were different, that one thing was enough to bind us together. And the fact that we are a come as you are community. No judgment. Come as you are. Come with your questions. Come with your problems. We're going to walk alongside you and we're going to grow together. Focused always on Jesus. He's at the center of everything. Focused on becoming the best version of yourself. For years, we've made this statement: change yourself and you change the world. I wholeheartedly believe that. When you change, when you grow, everything around you changes. You can't help it. So we focus on our walk with the Lord, our development, our spiritual quotient, our SQ, right? Our EQ, our emotional quotient. And it's been amazing. Well, there's been something really on my heart since the summer of 2025. I've been thinking so much about loneliness is an epidemic. Literally, the World Health Organization has now categorized loneliness as a leading health crisis. They say it's equivalent to smoking. Loneliness is having the same impact on people's health as smoking a pack of cigarettes a day. It's crazy. In a world where we're so connected. I mean, we can connect with anybody in any country at a moment's notice right here on our devices, right? But people are lonelier than they've ever been. They're disconnected. They feel unseen. They feel worthless. It's such a lie. And so I changed the structure inside Kingdom Alliance to make it more affordable, easier to access, because I know when people come into that community, their lives dramatically change. But it wasn't enough. So I'm excited to officially, publicly announce right here on this podcast, the KA Social Club. We are officially taking this amazing community, this incredible culture, and we are bringing it in person to cities and towns all over the world. I'm so excited. I can't even stand it. So this now some of the story makes a little bit more sense to you. This idea that was birthed in me 6 years ago that couldn't go anywhere because of the world. And really now when I look back, it wasn't time. It wasn't time. I really think that God needed this culture, this community to be created and solidified, the foundation of who we are and what we do. And this desire that we've had this entire time to impact the lives of more people is now going to be a reality. So you can, this is my official ask of you. If you're listening to this, we are looking for chapter directors. This is somebody that will take the leap. There's a QR code right now on the screen. You can see it over here in the corner over there. Just use your phone, hover over it, or take a screenshot and then come back to it. And we need people that want to take the amazing culture of faith, the community, the desire to impact lives and come together with like-minded people, the desire to impact your community. We need you. I have a vision to have hundreds of chapters all over the globe. And this is how it'll work, the KA Social Club. First of all, if you are already a member of Kingdom Alliance, you're part of the personal professional development membership, then you automatically have a membership inside the social club. The social club will be separate. It is going to cost $39.99 a month to be a member. And you will be invited to have access to an app, a community, online, which is great. But the purpose of this is in person. There will be 2 monthly events at minimum every month. One is the monthly member meeting. This is where all the members come together. There will be introductions, great networking. Are you looking to do business with like-minded people in your community? This is your event. So you'll have the opportunity to introduce yourself, to talk, to network, to talk about, what it is that you do, if that's what you do. And we'll have a monthly speaker. It could be a member, could be a guest speaker, to just pour into you, just continue to pour into you to help you grow as a person, as a woman, a wife, mother, husband, father, business person. That keeping yourself in that mindset of growth. It's a lifestyle of growth once a month. And in this monthly member meeting, it's also where you will do your impact drive. Impact is a huge part of our culture here inside of Kingdom Alliance, and it will absolutely be a part of the social club as well. So, as a chapter, you will decide and vote on either people or organizations that are in your town that you will come together and impact in a variety of ways. And you can go to the website to learn more about that. That's a big part of the culture. And all the chapters once a year are going to do a give back day. Even beyond what you do in your own chapter, in like locally, we're going to do a give back day as a whole, the whole social club, which is going to be fun. Every social club will have an annual Christmas bazaar. So anybody that does have a business or something that they sell, you'll be able to set up booths, and we'll invite people to come to the social bazaar that even are not a part of the membership. So that's going to be a fun thing every year. The Christmas bazaar, annual Christmas bazaar. And in addition to that, in addition to the monthly member meeting, every single chapter will have a social meetup once a month. Now, this could be anything. What if your chapter loves crafts? It could be craft night. You could go bowling. You could go hiking. You could meet at a coffee shop. This is not a structured meeting. It's just a time to come together. Maybe you guys all want to go to a Christian concert. Maybe you guys want to all whatever get together to do anything. And so, in addition to our chapter directors, we will have social ambassadors that really help lead this social meetup every month. And some chapters will be big, and you'll probably have more than one social meetup every month. The bottom line is this is going to be a place where you may come in not knowing anybody, but you will leave with friends. You will leave with life partners to do life with, prayer partners. You are going to connect with people in our amazing culture and take what we've built over 6 years, this incredible culture, and bring it to more people around the world more often, not just once or twice a year. I'm so excited about it. And it's really crazy that 6 years later, this idea that started the whole thing that didn't end up happening is actually what we're about to launch. And I know God's going to do incredible work. We're living in the most amazing time, and we have so much technology at our fingertips. But what we crave is real interaction, real connection with people, right? Real relationships, getting together. And our KA Social Club is going to deliver that in spades. And God's going to show up because his hand has been all over everything that we've done from the moment we started our very first podcast, because his heart is community. His heart is to connect people. His heart is that we grow together and that we impact our communities and that we lift each other up and that we encourage each other. And I can't wait to see what happens in the cities and towns around the world. And this is just the beginning, and you're the first to hear it. You're hearing this podcast, you are the first to hear it. So if you're interested, please reach out. Please, I'm going to make sure that in the show notes of this podcast, you have all the links, all the information. And I just want to say this: if you're listening to this and you feel the nudge, "Ooh, I would love to do that. I would love to be a part of that. I wonder if there's a chapter in my area." Well, there isn't yet because we're just launching. But maybe you're supposed to be the one that launches that chapter. Now, our chapter directors will go through an application process. There is a small fee attached to that because I don't want tire kickers. We're looking for people that are really willing to commit. But trust me, the perks far outweigh anything that might get into your mind and think, oh, I don't want to pay to apply. We are looking for serious people that have this gift of hosting, right? You have the gift of connection with other people. You have a desire to impact other lives in your community. You have a natural hospitality aspect to yourself. You're the people that we are excited to connect with, and we are going to walk alongside you to build an amazing chapter in your area. And there are some fun perks. So you'll have to go to the website and check it out so you can see the perks of being a chapter director. And I can't wait. I cannot wait. It's a new season. It's a new season inside Kingdom Alliance. It's a new season with our social club. It's a new season for me personally. 2024 and 25 were really brutal years, if I'm being honest. A lot of things happened that felt really, really hard. They took a toll on me, and there was a minute there where I wasn't sure if I was gonna make it. I wasn't sure if I was gonna come out on the other side. I felt some of the things that I walked through felt so hard and so painful that I thought, I'm just gonna give up on everything. You've ever had a moment like that? I feel embarrassed even to say it, but it's the truth. But God is faithful. And day by day, inch by inch, He walked me through it. And I'll be honest, as He dropped the social club back into my spirit, I was like, no, there's no way. There's no way after all this time that God is calling me to actually go back to this thing that started the whole movement. But He is. He was and He is. And it has ignited a spark in me that is not soon to be burned out. And I am so excited about where we're going, what God's going to do in the cities and towns near us. And I will tell you, your town needs a KA social club. Your city needs it. There are women that are lonely, lost, feeling isolated, feeling like they don't fit in. You know, they want to be around faith-based people that keep Christ at the center, but they don't want all the maybe politics or performance that happens in church culture. Not all church cultures, but a lot of them. They want to just be free to be and hang out, right? And just fellowship, have some fun with people outside of that environment, but with that foundation. You want to go have fun, but you don't want to just go drink, which is what so many social aspects are, just out there partying and drinking. That's not what I do. I don't want to go and just drink and get wasted. I want to go have fun with people that I care about and make new memories and take pictures, meet people. We have this phrase that I have said since the beginning. Anytime we hosted an event, anytime we went anywhere as a company corporately, and I said, our goal is to leave people and places better than we found them. The KA Social Club, the foundation of what we want to do is we want to leave people and places better than we found them while expanding the kingdom. And that's exactly what we're going to do. And I hope that you will be part of it. So stay tuned to be seeing me more. I'll be doing some interview podcasts. I'll be doing some solo podcasts. And you're going to see my face again around here, around the podcast world. I might even change the name. I have been toying with changing the name of the podcast to fit this new season. So what do you think? Got any ideas? I have a couple. I have a couple ideas. And I'm glad to be back. I'm glad to have walked through that really hard season to become this version of me. So if you're in a really hard season, I feel you. I feel you, but hold on. Hold on to your faith. Hold on to God. Get into the Word. Start journaling. Let God speak to you. It's only a season. You will make it through. You will. I promise. And I'll see you on the next podcast. Bye-bye. That's it for today's episode of the Kingdom Alliance podcast. Remember, leave people and places better than you found them. Be sure to follow the show, share the episode, and leave a review. See you next time.